week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. As you can see, this is a Christmas-themed Comic Hero tee. This is one of four. Actually, the second of four that I made. And I'll have two more that I'll be wearing in the next two episodes. Alright, now, starting this month, I started this new thing for the show. And I have a question every week. Now, the question for this episode... Oh, by the way, the rules to this is the rules are simple. I ask a question in one episode, you have to answer it, and if you answer it correctly, your name will be entered in a drawing, and I will draw in the very next episode. Now, the question for this episode is, for this episode rather, is where was the first episode of the Comic Hero Show I did at Clint's Comics? Well, the answer is episode 41. I did it last year. Now, I gave you all a hint. It was a Christmas episode, and it was episode 41. And there was only one person who answered, and that person is Jake Young from Springfield, Missouri. So, Jake, congratulations. You won yourself a free copy of the first issue of the current Amazing Spider-Man series. All right, now next week in episode 93, I'm going to be giving away a free Comic Hero tee. And here's the question to win that tee. Where did I do episode 3 of the Comic Hero Show? Now, for everyone who is in the ULM Sound of Today in the fall of 2013, you know this because you were there. And you know what we did, you know what we all did right before I did that episode. If you were a member of the Sound Today, even if you were any of the band directors like Dr. Long, Dr. Reinhardt, or even an assistant, Alex Heckler, you all were there. You all know which episode that was. But the easiest way to find out is to go on my YouTube channel and look up the answer. I mean, just look it up. Now, just look up episode 3 and right then and there, it'll tell you. Now, for those of you who, but you know, I'm just going to go ahead and say, all right, here's a hint. It is a local establishment in Monroe. It was at a local establishment in Monroe. I'm not saying anything else. So remember, now keep in mind, folks, this isn't a first come, first serve scenario. If you answer this question and any other question correctly, your name will be entered in a drawing that will happen in the following episode. So I don't care how many people, if you answer correctly, your odds of winning get better. It's better than not answering at all. Alright, so anyway, congratulations, Jake. Just get with me on some info on mailing it to you, and I will definitely do that. Alright, so I gotta ask. Any questions?
Questions I walk around in. Questions I didn't thrive in. Questions
Alright, I only have one question this week. It's for Brian Ferguson from Wake Forest, North Carolina. He asked, in an episode a while back, you talked about a comic book of your own you had worked on previously. Will we ever get to see any of it? Artwork or character info? Well, Brian, never say never. Never say never. Now, one thing I've learned about talents is that you don't, if you have a talent, use it as much as possible, or you will lose it. So, with that being said, I will get back to doing that, because drawing is, because I'm not very good at comic art, but I do think that I'm very good at writing, and I mean, I'm good at doing character designs, but as far as actual comic art, that's still something that I'm working on. But I will, yeah, but sure, I'll definitely do that. But yeah, the only thing is that I've been changing stuff. I've been pretty much working on the same book ever since my sophomore year of high school, and I've been changing stuff because I've never been satisfied with anything that I've done. but I'm gonna try to find something that I'm satisfied with, and then who knows, I may end up getting it published. So yeah, definitely. All right, that's it for any questions. Now, if any of y'all have any questions y'all want to ask, contact info is down there. Now, Bill Scarborough, one of my fellow customers over at Clint's Comics, has a DC versus Marvel fight request that y'all are really going to enjoy. And it's gonna be quite magical. On the DC side, we have John Constantine. On the Marvel side, we have Doctor Strange. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call DC versus Marvel. Hulk smash! Welcome to DC versus Marvel. Today is John Constantine versus Doctor Strange. John Constantine possesses mind control, magic, empathy, a powerful trench coat that houses demonic powers, multiple demonic elemental powers, arcane knowledge, and is an expert fraud and con artist. Doctor Strange possesses the mastery of magic, genius-level intellect, and is trained in medical science. Who will win? This wouldn't be close. Sure, Constantine and Doctor Strange are expert practitioners of magic, but Doctor Strange has something that Constantine doesn't. The Eye of Agamotto. With it, it allows Strange to see through all disguises and illusions, see past events, and track both ethereal and corporeal beings by their psychic or magical emissions. The light given off by the Eye also weakens a variety of evil mystical beings such as demons, devils, undead beings, dark extra-dimensional entities, and even sufficiently corrupt human practitioners of the dark arts. Strange can use it to probe the minds of others, project a powerful mystical shield, and create portals to other dimensions. It has also been used to place beings into suspended animation. Constantine tries everything against Strange, but is unsuccessful. Strange asks Constantine to stop, but the latter ignores him and attempts a demonic spell. Strange blocks it and casts a spell that causes Constantine to burn in an eternal flame. Doctor Strange wins. And that concludes this DC versus Marvel fight. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the DC versus Marvel segment, and if you have any DC versus Marvel fight requests, contact info is down there. However, for the next few episodes, Bill Scarborough, that's not the only one that Bill Scarborough has requested. He's requested, I think, probably about like 4 or 5 more. So for at least the next month or month and a half, every DC, there's going to be a DC versus Marvel fight request, and all of them are going to be because of Bill Scarborough. But if y'all have any more, just keep them coming, because that way I won't have to hunt people down, or have to or basically bully people on Facebook to do so. Well, not bully, more like pester people. I don't like to bully. But anyway, now it's time for Comically Speaking. So without further ado, let's talk comics! Alright, I'm going to talk about the trailer to 2 different movies that are going to be coming up in the coming year. And the first one is Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. If you haven't seen the new trailer, you need to see it now, because it's going to feature, I'm not going to give anything away, but it's going to feature a classic Superman villain. And then, just when he was about to deliver the final blow to both Superman and Batman, enter Wonder Woman. Now, for those of y'all who don't know, Gal Gadot, who was in the Fast and Furious 6, is playing the role of Wonder Woman. And she's gotten a little criticism for the role. But y'all have to remember something. Wonder Woman is an Amazon goddess. And because she's an Amazon goddess, they pretty much can't break the mold. I mean, they couldn't cast somebody like Monica Bellucci, because let's face it, she's too old for the role. She is drop dead gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, but she is too old. And then there were some others. I can remember about 10 years ago, Shannon Elizabeth was rumored to play the role of Wonder Woman. And they definitely can't get Adrian Palicki to play it because she was in a pilot episode of a Wonder Woman series that never went to air. But the only problem is she's playing Barbara Morse, aka Mockingbird, in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So much for that. But Gal Gadot is playing Wonder Woman. And speaking of Wonder Woman, there's also going to be a spin-off movie. Guess who's playing Steve Trevor? Chris Pine. That's right, folks. Captain Kirk from Star Trek, and he was also in the movie with Denzel Washington called Unstoppable. He is going to be playing Colonel Steve Trevor. Now to another movie, Captain America: Civil War. They did a teaser trailer to that, and I can't wait for that movie to come out either. And it's pretty much it's based on, it's based loosely on the Marvel miniseries that took place in 2006-2007, where there was a superhero registration act, and all those that were, and that means every superhero or anyone with powers had to register with the government or they're considered fugitives. Well, we all know that Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, registers, and not only that, he also becomes, I don't know how, but he ends up becoming the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then Captain America, believe it or not, who is like one of the ultimate Boy Scouts, the ultimate soldier, decides not to, and he becomes a fugitive, and it results in his death. However, I don't think Captain America is going to die. He better not. All right, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now then, let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is Action Comics number 47. Now, this is part of the true story arc that's going on in the book where Superman is having to not only deal with not having a majority of his powers, but the fact that everyone knows his secret identity by all thanks to Lois Lane. And it's not easy. He's been going up against this villain that calls herself Wrath, who pretty much infects people with this black tar, and they end up doing whatever she wants them to do. Kind of like Kilgrave and Jessica Jones. Oh, by the way, with Jessica Jones, that's another great show that I'm watching. Although I've only watched the first 4 episodes, it's crazy good. And if y'all haven't seen it, y'all need to. It's on Netflix. All right, next up is Batman and Robin Eternal number 9. Now, three of the Robins, Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, and Tim Drake, are all dealing with some woman named Mother, and their names have been on their list, and she pretty much wants all the Robins to be dead. And we also find out some stuff that happened when the 3 Robins pretty much relived their times as Batman's sidekicks in some earlier cases that they were on. And yeah. Up next is Cyborg number 5. Now, what's going on in this book is that the aliens who pretty much killed Cyborg and then brought him to life come to Earth, and they're coming to infect not only several other people through cybernetic limbs, and Cyborg is coming after them. And not only that, he's also dealing with his father not really paying attention to him, and instead paying attention to his cybernetics. All right, up next is Green Lantern number 47. Now, previously, Hal Jordan had ended up stealing the gauntlet that was previously used by Krona, and he ends up leaving Oa. And after that, he ends up becoming a fugitive of the universe. He's even a fugitive to his own Green Lantern Corps. And along the way, he ends up befriending some aliens, but the thing is, he may be a fugitive, but he doesn't do any dirty deeds. He actually helps people throughout the universe, but he does it his own way. And he recently ends up getting getting word that some terrorist group in his hometown of Coast City, California, are about to start trouble. So in this issue, he comes home to stop them. All right, next up is Robin War. This is a miniseries that takes place, and it pretty much has to do. Now you could look at this, and you could at this cover you could tell that the Court of Owls are going to be involved, and also the League of Robins from the book called We Are Robin, and Damian Wayne comes back just in time to find out about these League of Robins, and he is not happy. And there's some other things going on. It's Robin War is actually going to take place in several Bat-related books, namely Robin, Son of Batman, and Red Hood and Arsenal, just to name a few. Next up is All New, All Different Avengers #2. Now, I've yet to read #1 because I'm still trying to get caught up with several other books. But let me tell you who the lineup of this All New, All Different Avengers team is. It is the Sam Wilson Captain America. It's Iron Man. It's the Dr. Jane Foster Thor. It's Nova, Ms. Marvel, Vision, and the Miles Morales Spider-Man. And they're still trying to get used to being a team. I read the All New, All Different Avengers #0 that came out during Free Comic Book Day earlier this year, and I think when they finally get to know each other, they'll be a less dysfunctional team and more successful. Well, let's hope. All right, up next is All New X-Men #1. This is the first series, the first issue of the second All New X-Men series for Marvel. This is a slightly different lineup. It's 4 of the 5 original X-Men, and then X-23, or well, Wolverine rather. I forgot she no longer goes by X-23. Oh, she used to do Wolverine. And Jean Grey is not in this book. She is in the Extraordinary X-Men book. But a lot of things have and also Evan, the young mutant who someday grows up to be Apocalypse, although he's trying not. That's a legacy he's trying to avoid. And a lot of things have been going on in the previous volume. Iceman comes out to be gay, and then Angel ends up gaining new cosmic powers in the Black Vortex story arc that took place in several books in the previous volume All New X-Men, the previous volume the previous volume of Captain Marvel, and the previous volume of Guardians of the Galaxy. All right, and speaking of Extraordinary X-Men, up next is Extraordinary X-Men #3. Now, I don't know exactly. Now, I can probably guess exactly what's going on in this book. Now, for those of y'all who don't know, Wolverine, the previous Wolverine, and then the now deceased Jean Grey, had somewhat of a relationship. A very, I think it was it was a small relationship. I think it was better than Cyclops' relationship to Jean Grey, but I guess these two, because this isn't the now deceased Jean Grey. This is Jean Grey from the earlier timeline, and then this is an older version of Logan, except he does not go by Wolverine anymore. And could they be rekindling their fire? I guess the fire that's surrounding them can pretty much tell the story. All right, next up is Invincible Iron Man #3. Now, do not adjust your computers, folks. That is Mary Jane Watson on the cover of the Invincible Iron Man. So, could she easily become the new Pepper Potts? I don't know, but I can't wait to read this, and I'll let y'all know what happens in a future episode. And along the way, he's been going up against Madame Mask, and then he ends up encountering a powerless and maskless Doctor Doom. I couldn't even believe myself when I read the first issue. I'm thinking, wait a minute, that can't be Doctor Doom. He's supposed to look hideous. Why is he wearing his mask? But I think we may find out the whole backstory behind that during Secret Wars, which hasn't come out yet, but I'm looking forward to reading that. All right, next up is the Totally Awesome Hulk #1. Now, for months, I've been trying to figure out who this Totally Awesome Hulk is. At first, I thought because because Marvel was being very tight-lipped about it, and the first, the forearm was covered up, so I kind of thought it was Odin's son, formerly Thor. But then a few months ago, they finally let the cat out of the bag and revealed it to be Amadeus Cho, which happens to be one of the smartest people, not just men, but people on the planet. Now, for those of y'all who don't know Amadeus Cho, he is a brilliant young scientist who had a very small role in The Incredible Hulk from 2008. But he wasn't created for that series. He was actually just a character that was featured in there. He was one of the lab assistants over at Culver University right after Bruce Banner was allowed through the front gates. All right, next up is Star Wars #13. Now, what's going on in this book is this takes place right before The Empire Strikes Back. And they're having to they're dealing with a lot of stuff. I mean, for starters, Han Solo is dealing with his former lover coming back, but although she refers to him as his estranged wife, and Princess Leia's like, wait, what? And then Luke Skywalker is being imprisoned by Jabba the Hutt's brother. And then lastly, Teen Titans #14. Now, I'm still a little behind on this book, but what I can tell you is that the characters Superboy and Kid Flash, and have recently returned to the team, and it's not looking, and the team's about to fall apart. And the one thing that's the cause of it, Manchester Black. All right, that's 12 I bought, which brings the total number of comics I bought since December of 1997 to 7,056. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and it's good to be back here at Crew Tees. This is the third episode that I've ever done here, and I tell you, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. I had a dream. It was an interesting dream, and it's one of those dreams that can actually happen. I had a dream that Crew Tees actually became an official sponsor of the Comic Hero Show. I mean, I'm not saying it won't happen. But anyway, this is the second of 4 Christmas episodes. Episodes 93 and 94 are going to be Christmas episodes. And let me go ahead and ask this question one more time. All right, where did I do episode 3 of the Comic Hero Show? Here's the hint. It was at a local establishment in Monroe. And just about everyone who was at ULM in the Sound of Today in the fall of 2013 know this because a lot of them were there. And remember, it's not a first come, first serve scenario. A whole bunch of folks can answer this question. Just because one person answers it, it doesn't mean no one else can. Because once if you answer correctly, your name will be entered in a drawing in next week's episode. And the prize is a free Comic Hero tee. And Jake Young, get back with me so I can get this copy of Amazing Spider-Man #1 to you. And by the way, congratulations. And So that's it. I'm Victor Nunley. I'm the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week right back here at Crew of Tees. So till then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero. I'm going to go ahead and pay for these books. Thanks for watching.